I'm going live today for my debut on the Dixie Belle Paint Company page. So I'm really excited to be here, guys. Sorry I'm late. There was a little technical difficulty. I had a yellow, chippy, shabby, I call it like grunge farm look that I did on my personal desk for my studio. I wanted to show you like on a slick, plain, nice, smooth piece of wood how you can still achieve a very rusticy, old, like decrepity, grungy, farmhousey look. This is a plain oak table. Let's see if I can show you guys. Whoa, just plain oak. Okay, and it's in decent shape. It's old. It didn't have like any grunginess to it. It was in a good condition. And what I did was just put a base coat of just a plain white chalk paint. You could use cotton, you could use anything that you want for your plain base coat. And I chose a pretty bright white, like the cotton color, so that it would be kind of like a piece that we pick up that we're like, oh my gosh, it's white. What do I do? Do I have to strip the paint off? I've even done this over latex paint. In fact, my desk was painted with latex paint. And so what I did is I started a piece here so I can show you the next stage of waxing once I do this for you guys. I'm gonna go in now, and the colors I'm using for this effect is Dixie Belle's Colonel Mustard and Dixie Belle's Holy Guacamole. And then I already have my base coat dry. I didn't do a big one, I just did a nice sparsity coat. It wasn't even anything crazy. And then I'm just gonna go in with a just super, I like to make up my own words. I say sparsity coat, so it doesn't have to be like an amazing coat of paint. And I intentionally, when I'm doing this look, this technique, I leave the top and the bottom, the white exposed, okay? Appreciate you guys coming on and watching me from my first time on the big pages. So excited, guys. I just became a content creator and I'm super excited to be here with you guys today. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna just pull a little bit off the edge top here so I don't have like a bright white edge. Okay. And then I'm going to go in, I like to do a flat brush for that. So like, you know, like a flat brush to do the middle. And then I like using a round brush for this little, I don't normally double dip, guys. Don't get mad at me, but I'm doing it today because there's only a little bit left. Then I go in and I just do a little bit of pull down of this Holy Guacamole color. And you could do this technique with another color. So if you wanted to use whatever color you're using, you could use red as your main color and then use a brown to pull back. I just like this kind of grungy yellow look, so I thought I would do that. All right, and I'll go drag a little bit of it down. And this is like almost a dry brush of the grain, the Holy Guacamole. Like I don't have very much paint on my brush, and I'm intentionally not trying to cover it super good. You guys see that okay? Where double dipping is acceptable. Yes, thank you, because I'm a little bit of a double dipper. Hey, Marnie. All right, so then once I get that coat on, I'm doing a vinegar. This is my thing that I love to do, and that is half vinegar, half water. And I just put it in any old squirt bottle. I really like these Honest Company squirt bottles, but I know everybody's got these fancy sprayers that give that nice little streamlined spray. So half white distilled vinegar and half water. Shake it up. And then I'm going to not power wash it, just kind of mist the whole thing. And then I take coarse kosher salt. It's got to be coarse. This is important. Coarse. It can be any brand, doesn't matter, but it needs to be the coarse salt, okay? Don't do too big of salt, don't do 2 babies of salt. The coarse texture is good. And I just get a little bit in my hand, like so, and I spray it in one spot. And all these like little edges, I do like little chunks of it. I wait till I'm pretty close to the piece when I drop it. And what this is gonna do, so the vinegar and water naturally kind of pulls back the paint, okay? So it's like a paint remover-ish. And then what this salt does when it's with the vinegar on the paint is the salt kind of creates a hole, okay? So it further eats away, like sometimes all the way to the wood. In this case, it'll probably just do it to the base coat. And then once I get pretty good on the edges, like the top and the bottom where I'm making it really dirty, then I take some and I just loosely spray it all over from far away. So just kind of sporadically, little holes everywhere. When you do this, it's going to make a super like major distress top and bottom, but the middle to be more like this. See how this is crazy and then this is like just a little. The vinegar and water is just half vinegar, half water. It doesn't matter how much you use, just do equal parts vinegar, equal parts water. And the salt, this is the amount that I do on each little blurb. It's about, you know, a half teaspoon or something. That's what I do for my little blops that are going on here. And then I just take that and throw it from far away to get the middle. I'll see if I can't pull you guys in real quick. Don't get dizzy on me. Can you see? So see that like dotted look right here? That's the hardcore throw salts. And down here you can see there's just little bitty dots, kind of sparsity away from each other. This is technical terms, guys. Sparsity is a technical, professional term. Don't use it if you're not a professional. Joking. So you won't sand it to distress it. Correct, Monica. I will not sand this. Okay? Well, I say that. I won't sand it, but I will get the sand. I will get, not the sand, the salt wiped off in the end. So after this point, I will, once this is dry, which this should be, I will get the sand, the salt wiped back, and then I'll go in with my wax. And so if it's like really super stuck, I might take a piece of sandpaper and just rub the salt lightly to get it off, because I want the salt off before I add the wax. Okay, so then my next step is I go back in with my vinegar and water. Oop, there's a nice little hair there. And I'm going to hardcore do this top close up to get some of that white to pull through. Okay? Then I'm going to usually go a little bit down my side and a little bit down this side. A little bit down here. Because I want this area on the top and the bottom to be super distressedy. Yep, it's a word. Now here's the important part. So this drippiness stuff, I don't want it. It doesn't look distressed. So this is a technique tool that I do after the vinegar and water. Shop towel, and I want to stop the runs. I don't want it to be runny. I want it to be pulled back but not have streaks of drips. So lay it on almost like you're applying a transfer, just lightly. You don't want to press it too hard. Ta-da! I'm going to do it again down here. Stop the run. Stop the run. I do sing sometimes when I am live. I don't know why. It can't be stopped. Ta-da! Was the paint dry before the vinegar and salt added? No, my base coat white is dry. The rest of this has all stayed wet the whole time. When you do that, look what happens. So the drips are gone, right? There's no more streaky drippy. And what's happened is it pulls a little bit of that paint back where the vinegar kind of hit. You can tell this is where my spray of vinegar went. Where my vinegar didn't hit, this stays. Now, what I do once I love the way that these are looking on the tops and bottoms. but I want a little bit more paint in the middle. So what I do is I go back now with a dry brush that I used for my yellow. So I don't put any more paint on it, okay? No more paint on it. I'm just gonna smooth out the middle. Pull it to the front and the bottom. Pull it out, pull it up, pull it out, pull it up. Not perfectly, but I don't want it to look like the same across the piece, if that makes sense. Like, I want these parts to look like they've just been worn. It's been sitting out maybe under a tree in the garden or something, so it's just gotten all kinds of weatheredness. But I want you to see where the paint used to be good. Because to me, if you have a look, a texture, you want it to be different in different spots, right? So by doing this, I'm kind of smoothing it out, kind of keeping it looking pretty normal right there-ish. You can still see pieces of the white through. This is going to be really broken up. This is broken up. When I wiped across this with the salt that's on there, it's going to streak a little bit where the salt pulls back some of that paint. It'll pull with the salt. So now that's looking pretty close to what I want it to look like. I'm using a really, really light hand, dry brush. And then quick tip on Dixie Belle paint, dries really fast, really fast, really fast. It's really hard to get out of the brush if you just let it dry. So as I'm painting, you know how you set your brush down and then you go do stuff? Spray it with vinegar and water, like that. Set it down, it will be just fine, just fine. I can go through my whole painting with my brush like that and then wash it out and it'll wash out like that, okay? So, quick tip. Do you still have to have it on its side or can it be flat? I have done this flat. I did this on the top of a piece the other day, but I still did pull it down and pull it back up. I still did that. So I would, if you do it on the top, because this is the top of a table, obviously, I'd still pull it down when you're spraying because it's got to go somewhere, right? Otherwise, it's just gonna like sit there. So you want to kind of pull back and forth. Yes, I love Dixie Belle paint. It's my best. I honestly like this look to go over bad finishes. So you can't really tell here, but like there was paint on this table. My kid had like painted on this table, like it's his craft table. The cool thing about it is, so if the stain pulls back a little bit, or if there's like chunks, like the original desk had like chunks of latex paint on it, but it was chipping back. So I just like, you know, rubbed it with a light sandpaper to make sure the chips were falling off all the way. Then I went in with this because it only adds coolness. I mean, if there was like a chunk of paint that was chipped away here, it would look really cool. So you really can't go wrong with this finish. Like, this is a nice way to make really smooth, flat piece of furniture look crazy different and distressed and old and primitive. But you also can take a really distressed piece or stained piece or chipped back latex paint and put this on it and just let it do its thing. Sometimes it'll pull back and peely. You know, in that case, just run a light sand block over it and make sure it's done pulling back before you put your wax on, and that's the look it wants, you know? Where can I buy Dixie Belle paint today in Milwaukee? They have a list of all their retailers on their website on DixieBellePaint.com. I'm going to do this to an old door. Yes, this works great on doors. I've done this on several doors. It looks beautiful. It works really good for doors. I just find that Dixie Belle is really good for blending. It's really good for when this green goes into the yellow. See how it does that? And it makes this weird like olivey color right here. Like other paints don't blend like that and get that nice cohesive change of color sometimes. The greenish color is Holy Guacamole, and the yellow color is Colonel Mustard, and then the base color is just a plain white. You could use cotton, you could use fluff, like any of the whites that they have would work. So I'm gonna go over here to this dry spot, which I actually got a little bit wet on. I'm gonna try to dry that a little bit. But I went ahead and dried this spot over here so I could show you the wax now, because this is not the finished look, okay? It's not the finished look. Now, funny story. So as I was doing this, I went out and bought a heat gun today, thinking, oh, I'll be super legit today, too legit to quit. I'll use my fancy heat gun, I'll dry it right on my live, I'll go right into waxing, it'll be so rad. So I started doing this in my house. I was like, I'll just dry this one little section just in case, so I have a good dry spot. And smoke alarm goes off. Sure did. whole family like runs in here thinking that like I just burning the house down because I knew I just got a heat gun. They're like, Mommy's burning the house down. And all I could think was, thank you, Jesus, that I did not go live for the first time on the Dixie Belle Paint page and make the smoke detector go off. And you guys have like a smoke detector alarm going off. And like, that's my live. And that's it. Doesn't matter what I do from that point on. I'm the girl that made the smoke alarm go off on the live. All right, guys, so I'm going to go in here and show you my waxing technique and how this will make this look just exactly 1,000 years old. Because that's what we're going for. It's because you're so hot. Oh, thanks, Terry. That is it. That is totally it. That detector would have gone off no matter. No matter. I'm hoping. Totally got water or vinegar and water on this side. Gosh, you guys think I can hit it real quick without setting the alarm off? I'm so scared. I'm so scared. Please pray for me. I'm about to just a little bit dry, just this little edge. Okay? It's gonna be fine. 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 You guys, I pray that that alarm does not go off. How uncool would that be? You guys better promise to still watch me again if I do that. I just can't put wax over wet paint, you know? Come on. Truth be told, this is the second time I've now used a heat gun. The first time was like 15 minutes before I went live. I might have done it, guys. I might have done it. Salt on this one. Got to wipe that salt off. A lot of times this tool called the hand works really good for this. You just want the salt off the top, okay? Oh gosh, look what I just did. I keep thinking of like that song, like two pina coladas. You know that song? I don't know why I keep thinking of that when I'm using salt, but now you just see all the holes. I'm gonna bring you in. You use a hairdryer. My hairdryer is terrible. It's from like 1985. It barely blow dries anything. Ah! Sorry. This is what salt does, guys. This is no salts on here anymore. It's dry. It's what happens. See these little holes? That's what the salt does. The vinegar does the streaks, the salt does the holes, and it looks old, right? Looks old. Now I'm gonna go in real quick and I'm gonna hit it with some clear wax. Best stain wax, clear. Okay, okay. Try to make it to where you can see me too. I don't have a ring light, so I don't look like 10 years younger or whatever and have that nice sunlit glow with no wrinkles. So I'm just covering my face up with the hat. It says mermaid at heart. That's the truth. All right, so go in with your white wax. I'm sorry, not white, clear. Jeez Louise, help me out. This is the clear wax. It always throws me because it looks white until it goes on. Hit the dry paint. Pretend like this dried a long time because I use my nifty heat gun. All right, looks good. Use a wax brush, big old fatties. This is the salt I use. Coarse is the key. It doesn't really matter what kind of salt. I've used sea salt, but it has to be coarse. It's the size that matters. Go to Hobby Lobby, get Ranger heat tool. It's much more better to use a no alarms. What? I just bought this one today. Now I'm gonna go in with Dixie Belle Best Stain Wax in brown, okay? Brown. Now when you're doing the brown wax, I just usually want it to hit the tip. This is where the paint deposits or the wax deposits. This is like the dry brush that comes in afterwards and smudges it around. I deposit with my tip and then I turn my brush sideways and wipe, and then this dry part of the brush just spreads it out perfectly, okay? Deposit the main wax on the edges and then I just start going in. Oh, it's a little bit wet still. It's a little bit wet still, but we're gonna go with it. Does a lot better if your paint's all the way dry. See if I can pull that up a little. And have a shop towel nearby, because it's kind of good just to take that little on the top, see that little bit, push it back. So I kind of hit the edges, so like where a table would have got dirty, say it was sitting outside or something. Then I take this finger, I got this from Jesus when I was born, okay? And you just go like that. Rub it down, rub it down, rub it down. Rub it down, rub it down, rub it down. I don't know why a finger works really good to like smear it in the little spotted parts, where a brush just doesn't do it the same. Oh, that's looking dirty. Oh, you can't really tell, can you? I'm sorry, I like to have you guys really up close and personal. Coming in hot, coming in hot. I learned the finger from you, it works wonderful. Thanks, Judy. Yep, it's my own personal brand. But I think you all came with one, so it works. So now I'm pulling this down now that I've got the top part. I'm gonna pull down this little edges, because this is a drop leaf table, so this would have been folded down and this part would get dirty, right? Salt makes little holes. It does this. Pull you in real quick. Salt does this holy thing. Holes. Salt's still on there making holes right now, but if I pull one of these salts away, you'll see a hole. See this? Holes. That's from salt. Vinegar makes the paint pull back. Salt makes the holes. Ah! Oh no. So now that I went down my sides hardcore, went on my top, now I have not got more wax on my brush, notice I've stayed with the same wax. So now it's really dry. With my really dry brush, I'm just gonna go over the middle a little bit because I don't want it to be bright. I just wanna add a little dinge. I've not put any wax on the middle. I've just taken my dry wax brush and just kind of just wiped a dry wax brush over it. Okay. I don't know if it's better with the light or without. There's really not a shine on this. I don't know why there's a shine. There's not a shine in real life. That's my window. That's what it looks like. See, see, see? It's not supposed to be shiny, okay? Yeah, it's a little better. It still has a shine. That's weird. There's no shine. Whoa. All right, so I'm gonna dip back in my wax, get a little waxity. Same thing, I'm gonna put most of my color just on that edge, and then I'm gonna start pulling it up with the brush a little bit. And then I'm gonna go in with the good old trusty fingers, and I'm just gonna like wipe it onto that. Then I'm gonna pull it up on the side and over on this side. Wipe it in with the fingers so it smears it up into it good. Sometimes I think that it's too perfect like now, so I'm trying to unperfect it on this bottom. So I'm like pulling the wax over here a little bit more than normal just because I feel like it. Maybe somebody set something there, their whiskey spilt on the table or something. We don't know. So now that I'm done with my major dark wax, I'm gonna wipe it off. And I'm just taking that dry brush and I'm just wiping it back over the whole thing because I don't want any bright, clean spots, right? I did not add any wax, so the middle part doesn't have any actual wax put on it. It's just my dry wax brush, so it's just got enough. And I'll show you that close up. Make it not be, and you can smash your brush down like I just did, smash it down and go like this, and it will smash out any hard line like that. I didn't like how hard that line was. So if you smash it really hard, see? I'm sorry, I have a really bad problem with moving the camera a lot to try to get you guys different looks. Da 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 da. After waxing, do you go back with the dry, when dry and buff? Do you seal with anything other than the wax? Just join, love it. What brush you're using? Okay, so after, I think they say 15-20 minutes, the best optimal time. We don't have that much time, so I'm going to show you guys real quick, okay? I go back over this with my horsehair shoe polish brush, and I do it up and down, and then I go back and forth. I try to do it really fast, like I'm a machine or something. And I will do no other top coat other than this. Now that depends on the piece you're doing. So if I was doing, like if I was doing a vanity top or something like that, then you can gator hide over Dixie Belle's wax. That's the only wax you want to do that over. So if you're using any other wax, don't go putting top coat on top of your wax. It will be a disaster. But Dixie Belle wax, you can put the gator hide right over this and it'd be hard as nails. It'll dry perfectly. I'm not going to do that on this piece because it's not that kind of piece. But if it was something like a buffet top or vanity top that you know is going to have coffee mugs on it, a coffee table or something. But this now has a nice pretty sheen. This part's not done, so don't look on that one. Just look at this end part. There's the top. See that cool look? Lots of shadows there. I'm sure that's a great. Oh, okay, so I'm going to pull the camera off here and I'll try to show you this way. So here's the finished look. This is the edge where it would have sat out and gotten all dirty and crusty over the years. This is where, see how I said I use that dry brush? See how it just got a little bit of dirt on the top, right? As opposed to the sides and the edges. And then here's the bottom. Look how grungy that is. And there's the look. Don't look at this one. This part's not been waxed yet. But see the difference what the wax does? Like now it's truly, you could believe that it's old, right? Thank you guys so much. That is all I have for you. And I'm going to finish this up and then I will, follow my page, Mustard Tree Market, please. I would really appreciate it. And I hope you guys join me next time I come on here. Thank you guys so much.